Welcome to Stoughton Media Access Cable's Community Forum Show. My name is Steve Kelly, and I'll be your host today. And today, I'm delighted to bring you the people from H&R Block, those tax people that keep us out of trouble with the IRS. So today, I have with me Yvette Rosario Costoso.
Hello.
Right, and she is the sort of the office manager for Brockton and Stoughton.
Yes.
Right, and I also have Howard Brown, who was an office manager before, now is the instructor, has an MBA, has years of experience, and does a lot of taxes for a lot of people in the area.
Yes, I do, sir.
Yeah, so welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, I think that everybody who's watching is excited to get the kind of information that you guys sort of take for granted. You know, the little things like, well, what about, can I deduct my my new pair of shoes? I wear them to work all the week. So, you know, how would you guys like to start? Maybe, Yvette, let's start with you. So
Sure.
tell us, like, how would you like to start and share information with the audience?
Well, I'd like to start off that I manage two offices, the one in Stoughton and Brockton. I'm entering my third year into H&R Block. I'm really excited. And I like this job because I like people, I like numbers, and ultimately I like to make sure that they get the maximum refund possible.
Okay. Now, tell us a little bit about your training and, well, let me just skip right away to something. What would you do if you weren't doing this?
Actually, I'd probably be home with my children.
Okay, yeah, tell us, you have a couple of children?
Yes, I do. I have my two youngest, 14 and 7 years old, and they keep me busy.
All right, so you just stay home if you could, but we all have to work.
You got it. That's
Okay.
true.
And where did you get your training for taxes?
Well, H&R Block does offer a course, and also every year we have to retrain our minds because the laws changes all the time, and we have to have a total of 18 continuing education credits that H&R Block offers.
Wow, so that's every year you got to keep updating.
You got it.
Right, and is there a designation that you have? Now, I think Howard has an MBA, right? And
Yes.
probably another tax designation?
Yes, I do. An enrolled agent, EA.
An
I
enrolled
can
agent.
practice before the IRS with my clients.
Okay, and do you also have that?
Not at this moment.
Are you working for it?
You got it, sir.
All right, so let me just jump to Howard. Howard, tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you get started in taxes?
Well, I got started in taxes in 1999, and I'll be entering in January my 19th year doing taxes with H&R Block. Most of the years have been out of the Stoughton office.
Wow.
And, oh yeah, I've been doing this for many, 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 many years. I also am an instructor at H&R Block. I teach several of the classes that Yvette just mentioned, including the introductory income tax course, which we offer every fall to the public. And I've been doing that. This will be my 18th year in a row in September doing that as well. So I've been heavily involved with taxes for many years, and I love it.
You love it. That's fabulous.
Yeah, I do.
Where's your location? Tell the audience.
733 Washington Street in Stoughton Center.
Okay, good. And we just put it up on screen. H&R Block, 733 Washington Street, Stoughton, Mass.
Yep,
Office 781-344-0748.
that's correct.
hrblock.com. And let me just give a quick shout out to Gina. She's out in the background. She and her daughter is running one of the cameras, Bella Co. So we have a good group of volunteers. And Leo McGowan's also in the background. Just want to give a shout out to those people. So let's start with changes in the tax law right now. What happened this year that was slightly different than last year?
Well, one of the biggest changes that's been the last couple of years is this new healthcare legislation, and quote unquote Obamacare, as it's referred to commonly, and how it's affected taxes. Now, as of today, as of the past couple of years, people were required to have health insurance for the most part, with few exceptions. And not having health insurance can oftentimes lead to a penalty, a tax penalty. And so that's something new that taxpayers have faced over the past few years. as a
And
result of the changes in the tax law as far as health insurance is concerned.
So you have to upgrade that new knowledge, and it would seem that you're going to have a new packet of knowledge coming very soon.
Well, there's all kinds of talk in Washington now about healthcare legislation and what's gonna be in Congress and Senate and the House now. They're talking about doing away with it's called the shared responsibility payment, the tax payment for not having health insurance. So there's a lot of changes that are potential in the horizon over the next 2 or 3 years, as well as tax changes that Trump has talked about. So there's going to be quite a few changes, but we stay on top of all that. That's what we do.
Yep.
We keep abreast with all those changes. Every year we're required to take several classes, as Yvette mentioned, update classes. So we keep abreast of all that. So we have that tax knowledge to help people.
Can I ask a specific question? Like, so what's the difference between a deduction, right, and a credit? Like, I'm always confused.
You want to tackle
Yeah.
that?
Well, a credit, it puts money in your pocket, or at least it reduces your tax liability,
Okay.
right?
Dollar for dollar.
Dollar for dollar.
Dollar for dollar. Okay, so that's different than a deduction.
Right. A deduction is an allowable expense that could be applied against your actual income. It can reduce your income.
What are some typical deductions that someone could have?
Mortgage interest or real estate taxes.
Okay.
There's also charitable donations you can deduct.
Medical expenses, what you pay in state and with state income taxes off of your W-2 or deductible expenses.
What about-
Gambling losses, if you have gambling winnings.
Gambling losses. oh
Gambling
goodness.
losses you can deduct
Yeah.
if you have gambling winnings to offset them.
Oh, wow. What about rent? Someone that doesn't own a home, can they deduct their rent?
Under the state of Massachusetts, there is a deduction, but not federally.
That's correct. On the state of Mass, they can deduct up to $3,000 for rent paid on their Massachusetts return, but there is no deduction for rent paid on the federal return.
That seems a little biased to me. That
Well-
you, as a homeowner, you could make a deduction of a
On-
percentage
On
of
the
your...
federal, you can take the
Yeah.
long time deduction, is the mortgage interest deduction, real estate taxes. You get that on the federal return, but you don't get it on the state. The state will give you a deduction for rent paid, up to $3,000 deduction, depending on how much someone pays in rent. They can take up to a $3,000 deduction, and that's for federal. Well, state. Well, the state has their own set of rules that are different from the federal rules.
Okay. Switching gears a little, I have
Yeah.
grandchildren, they're twins, 16, they're starting their first job. What should we be advising my son and his grandchildren about taxes? Do they need to fill out taxes now? And I'll add a secondary piggyback question, and how does all that relate to college, going to college and stuff like that? So that's probably a compound question, but start with, when does a person first have to deal with taxes?
Well, right off their first job. It depends how much money they earn the first year.
Oh, let's say 800.
They probably don't have to pay any taxes if they're only earning $800. If they're only earning $800, they're probably being claimed by a parent in the parent's tax return. There's no tax liability there, so they don't have to worry about that. Once they're earning more into the low thousands, then when they start a job, they're oftentimes going to fill out a W-4. W-4 is what people fill out when they take a job or change jobs. And that will instruct the employer how much tax to withhold from how much federal and state tax to withhold from their paychecks. But someone earning $800 or $1,000 or even $2,000, there's probably no tax liability there. So they don't have to worry about taxes.
All right. Yvette, Havath Torah is a local congregation here,
Right.
and they run a bingo night. So let's say that my aunt went to that, and she won $200. Does she have to worry about taxes? Would you say to her, if you really want to be careful, you want to report that, or tell me a little bit like that?
There is a dollar amount. If they go over a certain
You mentioned
dollar
gambling.
amount, they should be reporting it.
All worldwide income, whether it be earned or won gambling, is supposed to be reported on the federal and state tax return.
What would you say to someone who was worried about taxes and and really nervous. I mean, how do you calm someone down so that they're not just thinking that the world's against them when it comes to taxes?
Well, that's what we're there for. We take people in, that's part of our interview process. We get to know people, we get to know what their concerns and worries are, and we get to talk about it. And as you say, calm people down if necessary. Because people are, when you mention the IRS, no one wants to get in trouble with the IRS.
Yeah.
No one. I mean, that's the last thing you want to deal with is trouble with the IRS.
Yes.
So that's part of our job. Through the interview process, we get to know people and become familiar with people's financial situation and family situation. So by the time they leave us, they're generally in a much calmer state than when they come in to meet with us first.
Right, and to his point is a matter of just educating our clients, and once they understand, they feel much better.
All right. So there are 2 points I think that I would, if someone came to me and said, do you think this is a material change in my taxes? So if a person got a raise, and also if a person was going to take a new mortgage or buy a house, would you recommend to people that they come see you at those stages so that, like before the end of the year, let's say they're a regular customer and one of those 2 things happen, do you have like advice that you can give them? Like, is that a good time to review for them? Yvette, what do you think?
At the time of the change?
Yeah.
Our initial interview with our clients, when we talk to them, we ask them if they anticipate any changes going forward, because we want to prepare them come the following tax season.
Right.
And some do know, some don't know. But we always give them the option to call us at any moment in time that they have a tax concern or issue. We are available year-round, and we don't necessarily set up an appointment with them going forward. Like if they've just purchased a home, we'll just wait until tax season and they provide us that information. But if at any moment they have any questions or concerns, we always welcome them to give us a call.
Okay, so that could really work, and they'd be like
Yeah.
favor to just sort of ring you up and say, hey, should I be looking at something in
Oh,
particular?
I get calls during the year because we're open all year round. We're available. And from my clients who are going to take a disbursement from an IRA or a pension, asking me, well, how much tax should they withhold? Because these questions come up throughout the year. People have tax questions.
Yeah.
Or like you said, to refer to you're buying a house during the year. How will this affect my taxes? Things like that. So we're open all year round. My clients can know how to reach me. And we're
It's
there.
sort of consultative
We
position,
consult,
right?
yeah. It's not just they come in, they do the taxes, and that's the end. We maintain a relationship with our clients. We're available all year round if they have any tax questions. And we get to know our clients too. So we establish that relationship, and that's really important. It lets the clients know we're there to help them if they need any help during the year.
Which is, I think, a great help when you're plodding through life, all of us, and then certain things come up that there's a change, and
Yeah.
you're wondering, like, should I, and I think what you're saying is, give us a call.
Yeah, give us a call. I'd like to talk to people.
Yeah.
So I want to get these calls. I'd rather get these calls during the year than wait for January or February when they come in to do the taxes and get this big surprise, realizing they took a large pension distribution. They didn't have any tax withheld.
Yeah.
So we need to. It's a back and forth education process. So we really love doing. That's what we're there for.
Yvette, tell me about H&R Block's program. I think they have a program for how to get an early refund. Is that true?
Well, it's called a refund advance, and we did have that product available last year. We're looking forward to it again this year, and what happens is that if you are eligible, then we will upfront you a portion of your refund with the expectations that we would get reimbursed once the refund has been issued.
From the government, yeah.
You got it.
Yeah.
You got it. And it's a great program. We're gonna we started normally after Thanksgiving break, and we're gonna start promoting it within the next month or two. And it's a big deal for a lot of people.
Yeah, you've been salting away money vis-a-vis your taxes, and then you're, with the depreciation or the deductions that they have, not depreciation. So I just
Depreciation
throw
is another topic.
Yeah, that's another topic. So maybe we should use that. Because it's such a, I wouldn't almost say ethereal, it's sort of like a concept that's out there. Maybe you could tell us, either one of you, about depreciation. What is that all about?
Okay, you want to get into basic accounting 101. Depreciation is a non-cash expense. The simplest way to look at it is, say someone purchases a home
Yeah,
and they use that home for rental property.
okay.
Each year they own the home that they're using it for rental property. They can take a part of their cost of their home and deduct that cost against any income they receive from that rental property.
Is that 1/27th right now?
It's 27 and a half years on rental property. So they get to deduct their cost spread out over 27 and a half years. And that's recoup their cost. And that's kind of in essence what depreciation is. It's a non-cash expense that you can reduce your income by if you've got rental property or cars, depending on what you're depreciating.
What other things can be depreciated besides a car and a rental property?
Equipment, we do a lot of self-employed taxpayers who have equipment in their company. Machinery, computers, things along those lines that they can depreciate and recoup part of their cost every year as they're going forward.
So if a person has a home office, I mean, I'm sure you get that all the time,
we do a
right?
lot of home offices.
So
Yep.
tell us about a typical person with a home office, how the taxes work out.
You want me to take that? Home office, okay. Home office. We have taxpayers who have used a room or a portion of their home. It's got to be used regularly and exclusively for their business purpose in their home. They can be self-employed, or they can be people who are employed by their company, who have a room dedicated in their home solely and exclusively for business.
No kidding, I didn't
And-
know that a person who wasn't self-employed could still use
Yeah,
that.
if they work for a company
depreciation
and they're forced to use a portion of their home to conduct business, maybe interview, maybe meet with clients, for example, or just store inventory, for example, they can take a deduction for a home office deduction. And when they're taking a home office deduction, they can oftentimes take part of the depreciation expense we mentioned before. They can take part of their mortgage interest payments, real estate payments as a deduction against their income. So we do quite a few, not a huge amount, but quite a few home office deductions. But you got to be careful. When you're taking a home office deduction, you got to make sure all the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed. Years ago, people used to say, well, if you take a home office deduction, you're going to get audited by the IRS. Well, that's probably not true, but if you're taking a home office deduction, you have to have all your paperwork in place, and you've got to use that room solely and exclusively for business purposes.
Just be smart about it, right?
You just got to be smart about it, but it's a good deduction. It's a good deduction, but you got to be really smart about it, yeah.
Yvette, could you tell us a little bit about electronic filing? Because I think that's a shift over the last 5 years, I think.
Or even more than that, yeah.
And I think people need to know about it. So just sort of an open-ended discourse, if you would. Tell us about electronic filing. What does it mean to the average citizen?
Well, it's probably the best thing that's happened so far with filing. So it's once we're completed with their returns, we send it off to the IRS, and literally within minutes, we'll get a notification whether or not it's been accepted or rejected by the IRS.
It's that quick.
It's that quick, and the Department of Revenue as well.
Wow.
And we always encourage our clients to file timely because we want to make sure that it's filed electronically, because our deadline for electronic filing is sometime in October.
October 15th, yeah.
So, but it's a year. I don't understand.
We do taxes all year. I
Okay.
mean, the cutoff date is generally April 15th, the most popular date.
Okay.
But our business doesn't end then. There are still plenty of people out there who haven't filed yet. And they can file after April 15th. And what we were saying about electronic filing is they can electronically file the returns right up through October 15th. So if you've
Wow.
got someone who's, this past winter we did the 2016 returns. And the tax season ends around April 15th or April
Yeah.
17th this year. But there's still plenty of people out there who haven't filed yet.
Yeah, they could have had a death in the family. They could have been all different
It's
reasons.
just, yeah. Or
Traveling.
they're scared, they're worried they're gonna owe money, so they kind of put it off.
Yes.
But we do those returns all year, and we were talking about electronic filing. We can electronically file those returns right until October 15th. After October 15th, they'd have to mail them in.
Okay.
It's much more accurate and timely to electronically file. They get their refund much faster.
So you'd like to say to people that are hesitant right now, now's the time. Come on down to H&R Block.
Come on
Give
down
us
to
a
H&R
call.
Block, yeah.
Right? And maybe, Gina, could we put that number up there again? So I'd like to see that. And there we go, 781-344-0748.
Correct.
And then you can come down to H&R Block. You can meet with Howard or Yvette. And let's get those taxes done. The deadline has passed, but not the electronic deadline.
And we have plenty of people out there who haven't filed yet,
Yeah.
who we're still filing.
Yeah, and you have a way with people, IRS agents. You're not intimidated, and you'll get things worked out, right?
We just do
Absolutely.
things the right way.
Yeah.
And we do things right. We're careful, we're precise, and we're there for the clients. We're there for our clients.
Yeah, very nice. So, tell me that your favorite deduction that you think nobody knows about.
Oh, that's a really good one.
Think of like,
You know, a lot of people get surprised that they can deduct their tax preparation fees.
That's a good one.
Yeah, and so whenever I ask a new client how much it cost you to get your taxes done last year, because it is
it's deductible.
it's deductible, they're surprised.
Okay,
They're
good.
surprised.
Howard, what about your favorite?
My favorite deduction.
Your favorite deduction that you think people like don't
Well,
know?
I had one this year. This is kind of unique. I had a client this year who bought an electric vehicle, Telsa, I think it's
Oh,
called.
wow.
And again, you don't see this very often, but this client, he bought a Telsa and he paid well over $100,000. It was very expensive. And he got a significant tax credit for it of about $7,000 or $8,000, a tax credit
Wow.
for buying that Telsa.
So that's money in your pocket.
And this client came in, that's money in your pocket. It's tax
Amazing.
credit. And he came in with all of his documentation, and he knew and it kind of educated me, because that was the first one I had done, but there's a great credit out there for electric vehicles.
Okay, so there's a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Let me stray off of specifics now with you guys. Yvette, if you could run the tax system for the United States, you're going to be the tax czar, what would you change?
Oh, that's interesting.
You'll get your chance.
What would I change?
Yeah, what do you see like that you bump into as an obstacle that, you'd say, you know what, if I could advise the president, if I could advise the tax czar about this, what would it be?
You know, this year I'm finding that both Department of Revenue and the IRS are issuing their refunds a little bit more later than usual.
Okay.
And I think for the most part they're changing some of their systems, and I kind of wish there was a more of a clear communication to let us, give us a heads up that this is what's happening so we can advise our clients. Because this year, I think we struggled more than ever because we were advising a client's one thing, but they were issuing refunds at a later date.
The
and so
expectation, let's say a couple of weeks, but then it was 5 weeks.
the
and you're like, "Wait a minute."
expectations was completely
Yeah.
different. You got it. And I don't know if there was some sort of communication out there. I might have missed it, but I wish there was something a little bit more clear and more timely
So
to make.
more clear and timely communication would be the thing that you would do, a change that you can make.
Absolutely.
All right,
I've got one for you.
okay.
Clients, for example, get a letter in the mail from the IRS. They're scared, they're concerned. Trying to call the IRS and getting someone on the phone is about an hour and 15 minutes to an hour and a half process.
Yeah.
They literally can't get through to anyone they want to talk to. They can't get through. They need help. Well, we're there to help them. But in general, even if we call the IRS, it's a long time to get through anyone. It would be nicer if it was simpler than that there was someone that they could speak with
Yeah.
within a 10-minute wait, not these hour and 15 minutes. Sometimes if you call the IRS, they can't even take your phone call at all. They'll say call back at another day. And that's intimidating, and it just isn't right.
Yeah.
So if I could change, the first thing I would change would be make the IRS easier to contact and easier to deal with over the phone.
Okay. So those are two good things.
Yep.
How about the system itself? Let's say you were designing from scratch a tax system. What would you guys do differently?
Oh, I'm not
You
even
go
too
first
sure.
on this one.
What would I design differently?
Yeah, how would you design? Well, they have, for instance, the flat tax. Now, it's my sense that companies that do taxes would be against that because they wouldn't. If it's a flat tax, why am I needed? Type of a thing.
Well, they're talking now, I've heard on television, talking about making taxes so simple you can fill it out in a postcard and mail it in. And I don't think we'll ever get to that. But the overall process can be kind of convoluted for people. And I would like to see it made a little simpler.
Okay.
So it's more of a simple tax process. It's a tough question, really, because there's so much that could be changed. There's so many deductions that people aren't able to get, and their income may be too high. So many credits they don't qualify if they file, say, married filing separately instead of married filing joint. So I'd like to begin by looking at it and making it a fairer system for people, because so many people aren't eligible for some deductions or student loan interest or IRA deductions, for example, if they make over a certain threshold. And I'd like to see some of those thresholds raised a little bit, because there are a lot of middle-income wage earners or lower to moderate income who are phased out from getting credits and deductions. So I'd like to review some of that stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
We could maybe get you on as a consultant to the government.
Yeah, consultant to the government. Okay.
No, it seems.
All right.
No, but it seems that that they lack the perspective of the people actually doing the work. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, they
You're
do.
actually handling tax returns.
I know. We see the day-to-day operations. We deal with people and what they actually face. And it's so hard to deal with the IRS. They're so hard to reach, they're so hard to talk to. So it's really a very intimidating system to deal with. Well, that's what we're there for. We're that middle ground. We take those letters we receive from clients. We deal with those letters. We tell people, we instruct people, we advise and guide people of the best things to do when they get a letter from the IRS. Now, no one wants to get a letter from the IRS. As I said before, that's very scary. And some of them are fairly simple, straightforward letters. Maybe the IRS is missing a piece of information, but some of them are a little more involved. So it's hard to deal with the IRS. They'd like to say, well, it's not, they're there to help people. But it's a very, very intimidating process. So we like to think that we kind of hold our clients' hands a little bit in dealing with that. But we deal with non-clients too. We have non-clients come into us who get letters, and we're there to help them as well.
It's sort of like a public service almost.
Well, yeah. Well, that's what we're there for. We do taxes. That's
Yeah.
our job.
What would you add to that, Yvette? I mean, tell us about your business and your business model.
Well, we have, in my office, we have someone like Howard that's so experienced and knowledgeable. And he can just take, a return from the most simplest tax return all the way through the complex. And I think just having him in the office makes a big deal.
Kind of an anchor for the other people that are in the office too.
Absolutely, absolutely, because we have all different types of levels within our offices. And it helps a lot to have an actual instructor.
Yeah.
Well, we do the most simplest 1 W-2 tax returns for people who are self-employed, rental property owners, investors who invest in the stock market. So we offer a full range of tax returns, and we can do those.
We haven't talked much about business ownership. So if, say somebody wanted to start a business, what is that like? They go see an attorney first, or do they come to
No.
you first? Or
Well,
what
a
do
lot of the businesses we do are small businesses. People start up their own business from their home,
Yeah.
or people have I've got one client who has a store, retail location, and I've got another client who's just starting her own business. And she comes in to me to talk about what her revenues will be like, and her questions to me include, well, should I be paying estimated taxes? So we look at her income and see what her income looks like each quarter and determine should she be making estimated tax payments and how much those estimated tax payments should be. So we do quite a bit of self-employed. But yeah, we've got people who want to start their own business to come in to see us and talk to us, or they call us during the year and we talk to them about them. We give them advice. So yeah, we're there for them.
All right. Now, Yvette, you had prepared a couple of questions. So what should I bring to file my taxes was one of your questions. So that if I'm going to come in and file with you, what do I bring?
Well, currently the companies have been really good about indicating on the outside envelope important tax documents. So anything that indicates on your envelopes a mailing that says important tax document,
Throw it away.
no, bring it in. You bring that in.
Just bring it in. We'll tell you if you can throw it away or not.
Yes. So any and all income, your W-2s, your 1099s, any sort of income, you bring that information in. And also, for now, we need health insurance information.
Health insurance information.
So you bring the company that you have it with and the premiums that you pay?
Well, they too issue a form, a 1095.
Okay.
Right? It could be an A, B, or C. And the other thing is they need to make sure they bring in a valid government ID. It's really important that they bring in a valid ID.
Otherwise, you're sending them home, right? So you go back and get an ID.
Well, if they're clients of ours who we've been doing for years, we know who they are. So it's always important to bring an ID regardless, especially for new clients who haven't been to us before. And we also like for them to bring Social Security cards and Social Security cards of dependents as well.
Dependents. So I'm curious about how many dependents you can have. Like if you're keeping your grandmother up in the attic, can you still claim her? Or we shouldn't be going there, no.
You might be able to.
Yeah, so tell us about dependents.
So a qualifying dependent is a child under the age of 18 that you're supporting over 50%.
Okay.
Of the household
Or under
income.
the age of 24
Or
for full-time college
you
student.
got it.
Full-time college student
Right.
too.
Kids are worth a lot of money tax season.
Okay, so how much are they
Dependents.
worth? How much are the kids worth? I mean, they're not nearly worth what you have to spend, but
Well,
still counts.
That's very
children
true.
under the age of 17 can be worth up to $1,000 each on a child tax credit.
A tax credit. Okay.
Tax credit
And does
up
that
to 1,000.
also, is that the compilation of the lowering of the base, or is there actually a tax?
It's actually a tax credit. Again, if the taxpayers fall within certain guidelines, income thresholds as defined by the IRS, they're eligible for credits for children.
Can you, like, on December 30th, can you adopt 3 kids and then kick them out the day after?
Well, you shouldn't kick them out the day after, but they can be born or adopted on
Pick up
December.
$3,000.
They can be born or adopted on December 31st. So you can have a baby December 31st, and you get to take that child tax credit.
And if
even
you have a
though-
baby on January 1st, it's
then you
not-
have to wait till next year.
No kidding.
Oh, absolutely.
What a funny rule.
The household is defined as December 31st.
Wow.
So if you have a child on January 1st, you have to wait till the next year. But if you have a child on December 31st, you get to deduct the child, so you get deductions, and that important child tax credit, dependent care credit also. And when they get older, you have education credit. So kids are worth a lot of money tax time.
So you have like a lot of different credits.
Several different credits apply to children. But dependents don't just have to be children. They can be parents of the taxpayers if the taxpayers are supporting them. They
So like
can
if
be
the
relatives.
station manager is like sleeping in my basement, right?
Yeah.
Could I like keep him as a dependent?
It would depend how much, if she has to live with you all year,
Okay, but on December 31st,
she has to live with,
Yeah.
no, if it's not related, if it's not a child, then the dependent would have to live with you all year.
okay.
It's only the child that's
It's only the
December
child.
31st, yeah.
All right, so we're having a little fun with this thing,
Yeah.
but it's not, I'm not sure that it is a very serious thing, your taxes, right?
Yeah, it's very serious, yeah.
Because you don't want to leave money on the table. We pay enough taxes, legitimate, that
Right.
we want our country to run well, right? And we want our state and our town to
Yeah.
run well. So we want to pay, I think, a reasonable share. But, so I'm going to switch a little bit. What about the people on the street that you see that say, I'm not paying someone else to do my taxes, I can do it myself. I'll get TurboTax or I'll do whatever. Should there be an answer to them? Is there an answer to them, or is it just, what do you think? Yvette?
Well, I personally have learned to give them some time. They eventually do show up at our office because there is an issue that they cannot go back into the system and fix, or they've received a letter and they don't know how to go about it. So we, during preseason, we do see a
What do you mean
lot
by
of,
preseason being?
It's before the Red
preseason.
Sox season
Before the Red
starts.
Sox.
so preseason, once, the season before the next upcoming tax season. So our next upcoming tax season will start in January up until April 15th, and then shortly after that, preseason kicks off for the following year.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's good terminology, right? Another sort of, go ahead, you were
Well,
going to add.
difference as far as what we offer versus TurboTax, or just doing it on your own. See, we do more than just putting numbers on a screen. We interview clients. We seek out the best deductions available, that they may not be aware of the taxpayer. They may not be aware of a credit such as an earned income credit, which is very valuable, again, deals with children, that they may miss on their if they do it themselves. So we get to know the client. We seek out the best interest of the client when we're interviewing them, that they can't find if they do a TurboTax or do it themselves.
I think you're right. I think experts matter.
Right.
In
They
every
really
field.
do,
I mean,
tax-wise, yeah, they
Yeah.
really do.
Professional engineers, surveyors, I mean, lawyers, there are tricks to every trade.
Yeah, and we also find, that folks that do TurboTax or use software like that, they can easily manipulate their refund by just, putting in, okay, this number, maybe this number will work better, but with
Be
a
careful with that,
you
right?
have to be careful, absolutely. But with a tax expert, we educate our client and
Yeah.
give them a heads up, if you do go this route, chances are you're going to get audited, you're going to receive a letter. And we, tell them exactly the way they should be filing taxes. And again, they feel very confident, comfortable, and they leave our office feeling like, they did the right thing by coming to us. And since we've, done the return, that we did the best that we could for our client.
How do you ask the client to verify? If I came to you and said, well, I made $20,000 this year, and you'd say, okay, we'll put it in for 20, or do you go like, wait a minute?
Wait a minute, let's see your
Absolutely.
W-2s. Well, they need to bring in the
Yeah, but
W-2.
I really didn't make this much. I know it says 40, but I only made 20.
Then they have to go back to their employer
Yeah,
who issued the W-2 or the 1099 and get a corrected one.
yeah.
Yeah. We go by the documentation they present to us, and if the W-2 says 40 and they said I only made 20, they have to get a corrected one issued with their employer. Yeah.
Right. And we've had a number of clients that they say that the withholdings are incorrect.
Okay.
So, and again, we advise them to go back to their employer and, if there's an error, to get it fixed. Otherwise, then chances are it's correct and they might owe additional taxes.
Right. Howard, you're also an instructor
Yes,
in-
with H&R Block, yes.
with H&R Block. So do you guys need tax agents?
Oh yeah, we offer a class beginning in September. I happen to be teaching 2 sessions in Norwood, but we offer classes other
Locations.
locations as well. We're always looking to bring on board new tax preparers,
Yep.
and the road to come on board is through taking the tax class. It's a comprehensive tax class. We cover a lot of material, but it's done in a fun, easy to learn session. That's how we bring in the majority of new tax preparers, is graduates of the tax course.
Okay, and so if
And
somebody
that's,
was...
you came from the tax course, and I was your instructor. I'm
Yes.
proud of that. She's one of my best students.
Okay. That's delightful.
Yeah,
Isn't that nice when you have somebody that you know, been able to train, and then
Yeah.
they really glom to the training, do
Yeah.
a good job, and
yeah,
and start to
exactly.
cue it up, and
Exactly.
now she's your boss.
Well,
So-
she's the office manager,
Yes,
correct.
that's-
I just concentrate on the day-to-day, the taxes.
Yes.
I put my emphasis in, you manage the day-to-day operations of the office, scheduling and
Yep,
all the
I'm there to
other-
help them out, however whatever they need to move forward.
I
But it
concentrate.
speaks to it's
Well, I
quite a credit
concentrate-
to you that she
Absolutely.
Well, she handles the
trained with
day-to-day
you and then
operations.
now is doing
Yeah,
that. I mean,
that's fine.
I mean,
That's fine with
if
me.
you
It
were-
takes that
if you were
burden
schmuck
off of me.
and she took the course, she'd be as far away from you as she could
No,
get.
no,
so,
no,
you know,
not
that
at all.
That's very nice
No,
that
no.
you were able to do such a good job. And,
Thank you.
yeah. So now I'm going to throw you guys all in a tizzy now, because I want to ask you if you were the advisor for President Trump right now, what would you tell him, tax-wise?
I'd have to see his prior year returns, and he won't let them. He won't
He won't
distribute them. He
disclose
won't
those.
disclose them. I'd have to see his prior year returns and have a lengthy discussion with him. And I don't think he's going to want to talk to me. No, he has. He keeps things close to vest.
Yeah.
You know, so it'd be hard to advise him. I'd like to see his returns though, but
Yeah.
I'm not going to make them
You know, you bring
available.
up something. Tell us a little bit about confidentiality and systems for H&R Block.
Well, our systems are highly secure. And one thing that we introduce to our clients when we're beginning our interview process is display our privacy notice to them and let them know that their personal information is highly confidential. And we do have systems in place for that.
So, and with all, like, there was a recent hacking, a worldwide hacking in the last couple of days. So, I mean, is that something that everybody should be, you know, on alert for? Or
Our
what?
systems, I can't speak to the technical computer end, but I know from a user of our system software, they have the most secure software. They have all kinds of encryption codes and all kinds of passwords. And that's their bread and butter, is their tax returns. And the confidentiality is number one. And so they, meaning the computer people at H&R Block, have all kinds of safeguards in place to protect clients' data.
And when you teach the class, what's sort of the theme behind confidentiality? What do you tell people?
That what you see in front of you, well, we just use case studies, practice examples, but in
Yeah.
real life, we have our tax preparers, new tax preparers, take a course in ethics and confidentiality and how important that is. The data, how important the safeguarding the data is. We don't leave someone's tax returns, a W-2, sitting on a table for other people to see. Everything is locked up securely. Everything is confidential. That's the number one. We don't talk about W-2s with other people. I mean, we are.
You don't tell your cousin.
We
what
don't tell
so-and-so
your cousin
made.
how much you make, how much someone makes. No, that's, people can rely on us. It's 100% confidential. And our systems and software is the most secure available.
If you guys could give, and this is an opportunity for you to do that, 3 pieces of advice to people on taxes, what would it be?
Let you go first.
Well, one of them is to make sure you understand what tax documents you're going to be expecting every year. So when you come to see us, that you have all the tax documents available. We find that a number of our clients don't really understand what tax documents to expect, and as soon as they get their W-2s, they're in, not understanding there's other tax documents that they should probably
I
be,
see. Yeah.
like for example, the health insurance
So,
forms.
right,
So that's one thing. The other thing is that when they come in, for them to feel confident and comfortable that we're there for their best interest. we're looking out for them. Some of them will come in and will disagree with our findings, but I just want to assure our clients that we're there for their best interest. And
They're aware of their options. So
Yeah.
we make them aware of what credits are potentially available to them, what deductions are available to them, so they can feel confident that when they come in to see us, we're covering their back.
So one thing is to gather the appropriate documents. Another thing is to do your taxes. Don't fear them.
No, don't fear them. Most people get a refund. Most people leave our office very happy.
And with a big smile.
And we get them the most refund that they're legally entitled to. We don't miss anything. Credits, deductions. And no, don't fear your taxes. And some people have a balance due, and it happens. Maybe they don't have enough tax withheld from their pay.
Or they
Maybe
do something like you mentioned earlier about taking from a retirement.
or they took from a retirement account or a pension account and didn't have any tax withheld. So it happens. And if it does happen, we explain to people why it happened and what they can do, how, if they need to make balance due, if they need to owe money, how they can go about and make that payment to the IRS, what options are available for making payments to the IRS, and educate them for next year so something like that doesn't happen again.
Excellent. So I'm going to switch gears and ask Gina to roll the credits out back.
Okay.
And when we come back, I want to talk a little bit about bilingual customers and things like that.
Oh.
okay.
And whether you have some provision for that. So, and before Gina jumps that, I want to make sure we thank Bella Cole, who's on the cameras for the first time, I think, behind the scenes. So we want to say thank you. So we'll switch over to rolling the credits now.
Hi, it's Gary LaPierre, and the crew wants to thank Maxie's Delicatessen. That's at 117 Sharon Street in Stoughton. They're 781-341-1662. American Cancer Society, yes, they're looking for volunteers. Drive cancer patients to and from their treatments. 1-800-ACS-6662, or just go to www.cancer.org. Ilsa Marks Food Pantry in St. Anthony's Free Market, 2 Park Avenue in Stoughton. For more information, call Christine Gallagher. That's at 781-341-0611 or 781-341-0549. Meals on Wheels. Just ask for Jessica. You'll find her at 781-344-8882, extension 2. Stoughton Penny Saver. Our business is advertising your business, they tell us. 27 Rose Glen Street, Stoughton, 781-344-4833. Community Forum showtimes in Stoughton. It's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at 6 p.m., Monday at 8 p.m., Tuesday at 5 p.m. It's on Comcast Channel 9 and Verizon Channel 28. All comments and suggestions welcome. Contact us at communityforum1@yahoo.com. Samaritans, they're at 41 West Street on the 4th floor in Boston, 02111. Their phone number is 617-536-2460, 24-hour helplines for Samaritans, and the number is 877-870-HOPE. That's 877-870-4673. Samaritans, you can find them at 800-252-TEEN. That's 252-8336. Or find them online at SamaritansHope.org.
And we're here back in studio, and I also want to remind you about Monday Night Bingo, Harvard Torah Congregation, 1179 Central Street, Stoughton. A great group of people. They have a lot of fun on Monday nights. Doors open at 4:30, games start at 6:30. You have a chance to win hundreds of dollars and then come see H&R Block to make sure that your taxes are done well.
That's right.
All right. So let's see what else we have up there. And Hometown Business Show. So that's a show that Stoughton Media Access Cable is putting on for businesses like the ones that you go to, like the ones you might own. If you'd like to be on our show, let us know. Tuesdays at 11 a.m., Wednesdays at 5:30 p.m., Thursdays at 8 p.m., Sundays at 7. Comcast 9, Verizon 28. The next show coming up, I can give a little preview, is Dimensions of Me. So we'll have a little preview of that coming up, and you'll be able to see that later in the week. And Get Fresh, Stoughton's own cooking show. New episodes are coming soon. Comcast Channel 9, Verizon Channel 28. And that will be on Mondays 5:30, Wednesdays at 8, Thursdays at 9, and Fridays at 5. And there we are, back with H&R Block representatives Howard Braun and Yvette Rosario Costoso. Costoso, I got it almost right. All right, and they're at 733 Washington Street in Stoughton, Mass. You can give them a call at 781-344-0748. You can check it out, hrblock.com. So back in studio, and a couple more questions have come up. So as I think, one is, we're in a whole new world now, and perhaps I'm dating myself because it's new for a while, but the idea that there's much more bilingual needs now. So what does H&R Block do for bilingual? What else could they do for, whether it's Arabic or Spanish or Portuguese? What do you guys have to offer?
Well, we try to cater to the demographics of the town or city that the office is in. And for Stoughton, I know that in addition to English, we have Portuguese-speaking people.
Yes.
And my goal is to hopefully recruit a tax pro that we can have into the office to help our Portuguese-speaking clients. In the Brockton location, we find that there's, in addition to English speaking, there's also the French Creole, the Cape Verdean Creole, the Portuguese Creole, and also the Spanish speaking folks. And we try our hardest to recruit bilingual folks so we can just, offer a bigger range of services. And I'm noticing that in our Brockton location at 200 Westgate Drive, we are getting more Spanish-speaking clients into that office because we have currently 3 Spanish-speaking tax professionals there.
All right. So if you're somebody that's interested in working for H&R Block and you have this extra thing in your suitcase of an additional language, then you're going to come see Howard and maybe get into his class and be able to
Absolutely.
fill out the role that you guys need.
You got it, and we do. We encourage bilingual folks to apply.
That's right.
Yeah. So tell me other services and things that you have at H&R Block that the audience should know about.
Sure. As we spoke about earlier, we're available all year round. So that's one of the biggest services that we offer our clients. We're available all year. The other thing is that we have an audit service that we can have one of our enrolled agents represent our client in front of the IRS or the Department of Revenue.
Is that
in
an
the
extra
event-
cost? I mean, is it time served? Like if you spend 8 hours on it, then you have to get a certain pay, or does it come with having done someone's taxes?
It's primarily it could be attached to the return that was completed. But if it's a non-client, there is an additional cost for that.
If you're a non-client, there is an additional fee.
But otherwise, so what other services do you have?
We also have a second look review service. It's absolutely free. It's a service we offer to new clients and clients that have been with us for 1 or 2 years. We'll review your prior 3 years returns that were not completed by H&R Block to make sure that there was no missed deductions or credits that can often entail a bigger refund or maybe reduce a tax liability.
What is the reach back window?
3 years.
Oh, okay. We can go as far back as 3 years.
Yep. And we encourage new clients who are coming into us as well to bring the last, if they have it, up to 3 years worth of prior year returns for this second look product program. We look back, we reconstruct the tax returns. People miss something sometimes. Even if they go to another tax professional, oftentimes things are missed. Credits are missed, deductions, maybe the filing status was done in error. So we reach back and oftentimes can get, not always, but oftentimes can get people additional refunds back.
Tell me about tax adjustments a little too. What is that all about?
A tax adjustment is an amount of money you can reduce your income by that you don't have to pay taxes on. For example, a tax adjustment, here's a good one. Teachers, who teach kindergarten through elementary school, who have out-of-pocket expenses for their classroom. They can take an adjustment, this deduction, for up to $250 on their tax return as an adjustment. It lowers your taxable income. They pay less tax on it for up to $250.
Yeah.
If it's, I've got married filing joint, 2 teachers, or one is an assistant principal and one's a teacher, married filing joint, they can take a deduction for up to $500. Another big deduction are IRAs. IRAs are tax savings accounts where someone can go into a bank or they can go into a brokerage house like Fidelity and they can put money aside toward their retirement. And depending upon their age, they're able to deduct up to 5 or even more, depending upon their age, $1,000 as a deduction in their tax return. And that's for an IRA. That's money they're putting aside to use later on when they're ready to retire. Other tax deductions can include things like student loan interest. Plenty of people who graduate college these days are repaying student loans. And they can take an adjustment on their tax return for the amount of money they paid into student loan interest. So all these adjustments serve to lower their income, pay less taxes. And those are 3 of the most common ones.
One more question, and then we're going to close down.
Okay.
Mileage deduction. Everybody that's traveling wants to know about that.
Business mileage, great deduction.
Yeah. Is it
You have to track it.
47? What is it?
I think it was 54 cents a mile for 2016. I believe it was 54. In the year before that, it was 57.5 cents because the price of gas went down, so the mileage deduction went down. But we do a lot of Uber drivers' tax returns, and they have one of their biggest deduction is business miles. But they don't have to be self-employed. We've got a lot of people who are working for companies who have business mileage. So it's important to define what we mean by business miles, not commuting miles.
All right.
And they can take a deduction for those, but they need to track their mileage. Really important. We educate people. They need to document the mileage that they're driving.
All right. Well, I want to say thank you on behalf of our
Oh,
audience.
you're welcome.
Howard Brown and Yvette Rosario Costoso.
You got it,
All
sir.
right. At H&R Block here in Stoughton. And I want to thank the people in the background. We have Gina Coe, Bella Coe, Leo McGowan, Dave Young, Jeff Pickett, Mike Hammond. Everyone has put their fingers in. I want to thank the audience. Thank you very much for watching. Wishing you a great day from Stoughton Media Access Cable.